Welcome to Snark Marks, everybody. We're a very funny podcast out of Central Valley of California. I'm Andrew, that's Dusty.
Hey.
I'm sorry for everybody who noticed that our thing was out of sync last week. There's nothing I could do about it. Up yours. You know what I mean?
Look, it was the fault of my adorable yet giant cat.
Yeah.
This week, no cats in the recording area.
Yeah,
So,
we're only dealing with mine. Okay, so but I think it should be fine. It was a freak accident. Most people didn't notice. It was just at the very beginning. So
a freak cat accident.
There you go. Follow us on you. I'm gonna quit.
Anyway,
the show.
Bye everybody.
Follow us. We should upload a 6-second show one day where one of us makes it really stupid. And we don't release another one that week.
Yeah,
it is 9 seconds long, and one of us makes a bad joke, and we end the episode.
Mm-hmm. Look for that in the future.
Yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit a like, hit the thumbs up button, please. Fuck. And then so follow us on your favorite podcast app. We love you. Dusty.
Yeah.
How you sleeping?
You know what? Continually better. I am
okay. So just so everybody knows, Dusty has the worst sleep apnea that's ever been had of all time. Mm-hmm. I believe I think we need to pour Drano down his windpipe, but they won't let me do that. So
it's not about that. It's the soft tissue of your palate.
You son of a bitch. So we got a CPAP machine. It looked hilarious. We had a great laugh about. Well, I had a great laugh about it, and now we're getting an update. You've been 2 months on the CPAP, something like that.
Let's see, a little over a month, maybe a month and a half.
Okay, so how you doing?
Better. Like, I do feel better. It is one of those hackneyed things where it's like, oh, I never realized before.
It's like having a kid.
Right, like
you never know you could love something so much.
Right. Parenting looks so easy till you have to do it yourself or whatever, like
you'll want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
But
I have
love
a dog
that
that's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't find myself nodding off like as often, because like middle of the day at the old workplace, I used to find myself nodding off a little bit,
Yeah.
And that's not happening as much. I feel more rested. I think Andrew and I talked about, like, as a fat person, when you go to the doctor, you often feel dismissed by doctors, because I understand that I'm a fat person, but like I still warrant care. Like
no matter what they say, no matter what you tell them in the middle of it, they're like, it's because you're fat. You go in and you're like, I broke my leg. It's because you're fat, Dusty.
Yeah, literally, it feels like they're just going, well, if you eat more vegetables and you walk more. And I'm like, dude, I walk a lot and I eat vegetables and fruits. I also eat burritos. Like, I'm aware. I know the steps I need to take to get better, and I'm attempting. But at the same time, these other things are happening. So I still need your attention and your help. Like, it can feel very dismissive.
I have athlete's foot.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Oh, you know why my leg hurts? Because I walk on the treadmill so goddamn much. So
they're like, you know what? I bet if you weren't fat.
Yeah. And so I went to see the sleep apnea specific doctor. It's my first trip to see the sleep apnea specific doctor. After he canceled on me one time. It was very funny. That's just great. Like 20 minutes before my appointment, they were just like, hey, he's not here today.
I got a thing.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, he's not coming in. I'm like, but you scheduled it. So what, like, I didn't decide what day we were getting together. So I go in and I'm like talking to him, and he goes, and the second or third doctor who's told me, they're like, you have like some of the worst numbers for sleep apnea we've ever seen. And I'm like, look, this is not a thing that I can control. Like,
I could have told him that. Though,
yeah.
Hearing you sleep was like, holy shit, I might have the worst one of all time. Because it's not like the loudest snoring. It's the most concerning snoring.
Sure. I should just videotape you doing a testimonial I could have skipped the sleep study, but
Yeah, and in the testimonial, I'd be like, I would try to do an impression of it, but I would be humiliating myself.
Rich Little couldn't get this impression down. Anybody for Rich Little out there?
You get Frank Caliendo in here.
Yeah, who probably also has sleep apnea. You sons of bitches.
He'd be like, all right, how about we do Shaq having sleep apnea?
Yeah. What about if it were the In a World movie trailer guy? He has sleep apnea.
Oh, Pablo Francisco. Yuck.
But like, I don't know what to do whenever they do that to me. And so I think my responses often come off as very glib because they're like, you have, like some of the worst numbers we've ever seen. And I'm like, cool, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't choose to do this. I'm not doing it on purpose. If it were up to me, I would definitely not have sleep apnea.
Yep.
And so he was like, okay, do you have any questions for me or any concerns? And I have a friend who also has sleep apnea who uses a different type of mask, but it's like an aftermarket thing that he bought off Amazon. And he like swears by this thing. And it goes, there's like two ports that go into your nostrils, kind of like when you're in the hospital. And that's what you use. Like, it's not a mask over your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I don't know if that's like officially the kind of thing you're supposed to use, or if it's like bro science or like whatever. He swears by this thing, but I'm like, I'm gonna ask the doctor. So I ask him, like, is this a thing that I can use? Because like I normally sleep on my face, on my stomach, but I can't because I have this goddamn Bane mask on, so I can't do anything about it. And he's like, oh yeah, like if you want, you can try one of those. Like, it doesn't really matter to us. What a ringing endorsement of.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead and fucking die, dude, if you don't want the mask on.
Yeah, if you don't care.
I thought you were gonna tell me that he was like, no, like right. If anything, you need a bigger mask. We need to shove a pipe down your throat when you're sleeping.
So then he was like, anything else? And I was like, well, like when I'm sleeping, I go to sleep fine now. I've gotten used to having the thing on my face, but like 4 or 5 hours in, I'm supposed to wear the thing 4 hours a night. But ideally, I would suppose I should wear it the entire time that I'm sleeping, so that there's a less likely a chance that I will die. But you only have to conform to the thing. You only have to do 4 hours, and so I normally wake up at like 4.5 hours, and my shoulders, like the muscles between my shoulder blades, really, really hurt. It feels like I pulled both muscles every single night, and I have to like get up and I have to stretch and I have to like do shit to make it not hurt so I can go back to sleep. Is that something that other people have talked about? Is that a common side effect, or is there something that I need to do that's different? And he's like, yeah, but that's just like a thing that you get used to and then eventually goes away. And I was like, okay, well, how long does it take to go away? Well, there's not really a time frame. You just have to like deal with it. And that's their solution to everything having to do with sleep apnea, is like, you just deal with the mask and you deal with the shoulder pains and you deal with all of that shit. Or alternatively, you could just die if you want. Like,
listen, fatty, do you want to breathe or not?
Right. And I'm just looking for any sort of tips or anything to make me feel like they think I'm a human being. Like, you have zero tips for what to do because it disrupts it like bad. It hurts really bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I got like, sorry. And cool, thanks, man. So much for your help. And he's like, next time you come in, bring the machine. That way we can calibrate. Like, I guess the idea is, because I am sleeping more heavily and I'm getting better sleep, I'm not moving around as much, and therefore like my muscles get more sore. But since my body's not used to that, it hurts more, I guess would be. Or I'm using muscles to breathe that I used to not use to breathe because I was not breathing as much.
Yeah, and you're sleeping in a position that you never sleep in. as well.
Right.
So like, there's probably multiple things that are going on.
Yeah, and so I just want just to just be like throw some icy hot on it. Give me something that isn't just it might go away or it might not. I've had to come up with my own solution, which is I go sit in a chair for like 10 or 15 minutes and let my muscles relax, and then I go back to sleep every goddamn night. This is the thing, but I'm getting more quality sleep
Oh fuck,
during the time that I'm sleeping, so it works itself out, I guess.
that's amazing. I mean, you
But
should have learned how to breathe. I mean,
I you know I
you've had near 40 years,
pert
Dusty,
near 40 years, yeah.
to learn how to breathe.
I broke my nose really bad whenever I was a kid, so I think maybe that had something to do with it. And initially, like, because I had a sleep study done like 20 years ago,
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, your nose has this like obstruction. We'll go and do surgery, and that should help." And then it just nobody ever followed up, and I, was like a single person for a long time, so nobody else has given me any feedback. So it's
yeah.
just
Your
like,
dog Lucy is like looking at you concerned, but
right.
that was just Lucy's face.
And the dog also has sleep apnea problems.
Yeah,
So,
you guys are both just
yeah,
sleeping with you and Lucy
yeah.
all
she's
night.
a basset hound. But so things are going better.
Okay.
Things are trending upwards. So, I wanted to ask you. You recently came back from a trip.
Yeah,
How did the trip go?
that was great, man. My nephew graduated from high school, and he's going to college. The flight, I missed my flight, my first flight.
That's a
And
big L. How'd that happen?
yeah, I mean, I left with. I checked the traffic the night before. I checked the traffic in the morning, but I still should have left with more cushion. But there was like a mudslide, and there was like a single car accident, and then there was like construction.
Couple
It was just
mojitos.
like everything went as slow as possible.
Right. Every
And then
possible inconvenience hit you all at once.
every one of them.
Yeah.
I had the mudslide thing cost me like 30 to 45 minutes easily. Then the accident in front of it was probably 15 minutes, and then the construction in front of that was probably 5 minutes. So we're talking about a little over an hour that it's cost me. I get there and I have to. I prepaid for my parking, but the parking lot that I prepaid at was so full that I had to park on the roof. So I had to go up there. Then I walk down and I get to the shuttle bus to the plane, and I get in the shuttle bus and I sit down, and then I look around and it's not full. It's like maybe a third full, and the lady is just sitting at the steering wheel just texting, which was driving me nuts. Even though I knew that she probably has to wait X amount of time, because as she's waiting, more people are getting on. She'd be
Right.
leaving somebody. So I can't get that mad, but it was still driving me nuts on the inside. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. So then I get there and I find my place and I get in line and I start texting people. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. I think it was like 25 minutes before my flight took off or something
Ooh.
like that. Or
Yeah.
no, it was like maybe 40 minutes, maybe
Mhm.
40 minutes before I can't remember, something like that. And so I waited in this line to check my bag, which I got my thing, the longest check bag line I've ever seen, obviously, because of course that happened.
Right.
And I got to the front, I was like, I'm cutting it close. She was like, yeah, I can't even let you check. Like, I can't take this bag. It's not going to make it to the plane. And I'm like, cool. And she's like, I was like, can you rebook my flight? And she's like, you're going to have to get in that line over there. Longer line.
Of course.
So
Why
I
wouldn't
wouldn't.
it be?
Yeah, I wouldn't stood in that line. Thankfully, they got me to my destination at the same exact time that I would have gotten there, like the same flight. Because it was like a connecting flight.
Mm.
It only cost me $75 extra, so that's not too bad. But I had a great time with my family, all that stuff, and then the night before, so I had to leave my sister's house at like 4:30 in the morning, to catch a 7 a.m. flight, and the night before it's like 11:30. Everything's packed. It's the last thing I'm going to do before I go to bed. I should have done it earlier. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't check in for my flight. I pull out my phone and I try to check in, and they're like, we can't verify your tickets. Cool. So I call, I start texting Delta, which I mean, every single, and listen, I don't want to sound like xenophobic or anything like that. They're all named Dan, and none of them's real name is Dan. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
So like, I just I understand. I want somebody who speaks the language to where we can have a real conversation. That's the only thing I care about. He can
Right.
be in India. That's great.
Right.
You know, if you want to do that. Well, it's not great because it's taking American. You know, we want to hire
Sure,
American
sure.
people, right? But anyway,
I'm sorry, is that a build the wall flyer behind you?
oh, it just matches my tattoo. So I'm like, hey Dan, this is what's happening. And he tells me I got to talk to Expedia, who I booked the flight with.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, Dan, I'm gonna keep you here while I'm texting him. I'm like, please don't leave this text room while I call Expedia, because I have a feeling Expedia is gonna tell me to call Dan. So
I'm gonna be stuck in a hellish circle.
I'm gonna have to explain to a different Dan the same shit, right?
Yeah.
So I call Expedia. Expedia tells me to call Dan. I'm not going to explain the issue. It has to do with them rebooking my first flight. For some reason, it fucked up the second flights that they didn't even touch, and that I had gotten confirmation for after the fact. Horseshit. So they have me call Dan. I call Dan. I'm like, hey, different Dan, because I'm still texting original Dan.
Right. You need two Dans on this job.
Yeah, so I call different Dan from Delta while I text the original Dan, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, my name's Dan. I said, I know. And they said, he said, I promise my name's Dan. And I was like, I know. And then he was like, no, you got to call Expedia. And I said, Dan, I called Delta, who told me to call Expedia, who told me to call Delta, and now you're telling me to call Expedia. I'd like for you to fix this problem, please.
What would be great is if you could help me, Dan.
Yeah, and I was like, because it was like something with like they gave me main cabin instead of basic economy. I was like, Dan, I don't care if I'm in the cabin with the dogs in cages.
Yeah.
Put me under the toilet if you want to. I need to get on that flight tomorrow, and it's fucking 1 a.m. And I started this fucking journey at 11:30. Do whatever you need to do, Dan.
Yeah.
Let me check in for my flight. And Dan took a little bit of time. This is a female Dan this time. She took a little bit of time, and she kept coming back and being like, hey, you still there? All right, well, we haven't fixed it yet. I'll be right back. And then
well, having worked in a call center, I know one of the rules of the call center I worked at was if you have somebody on hold for like 3 minutes or something, you have to go back and check
I appreciate when they do that.
Yeah.
Just so I know no Dan's not asleep on the other end. Or like,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
So she finally comes back. She's like, it's fixed. And it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, thanks, Dan. I'm going to go get less than 3 hours of sleep. Real
you might as well have just drove to the... Well, I guess you're getting dropped off, right?
My sister was driving me, so I didn't want to go wake her up, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I got less than 3 hours of sleep. I went.
Sick.
And I made my flight, all that stuff. I get to LA, walk straight to baggage claim. Baggage claim at LA is either the smoothest thing in the world or it takes 4 hours, and you don't know what the hell is going on. This time I walked up, literally couldn't have been more perfect. As soon as I walked up, my bag was like met me, like we connected.
Mm-hmm.
I walked up, grabbed my bag,
it's like like a meet cute in a rom-com.
Yeah, walked away. Took way too long for the shuttle bus to get to me. Too long, way too long. Should be 10 minutes of time in between them. It's like 30 minutes. I was standing there waiting for this goddamn thing. I just want to go home, right?
Yeah, and so then you have to drive 4 hours.
And then I'll tell you. Yeah. So then I get in the car and I drive home. This is Memorial Day weekend. Thankfully, I didn't hit much traffic. It was like maybe got delayed like 10 minutes on the way home to Bakersfield. But that day we had a radio event, didn't we?
Oh, so I had to. You did, yeah.
On less than 3 hours of sleep, I had to drive to the Kern County Fairgrounds for the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce's Latino Food Festival Menudo and Pozole Cook-Off.
Your favorite
And it was
event of the year.
95 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to go on stage in front of like literally 10,000 people and introduce Zap. You know Zap? They did California Love. That's
Oh, the
them.
original. Okay.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
did. They've got a bunch of them.
Sure.
Computer Love, something like that. But they're good, like old funk vocoder, like talk box band.
Hell yeah.
And so they wanted me to introduce them, and that kind of fell through. The guy who was running it was like, "No, we fucking paid Zap. We're introducing Zap." And I was like, "Cool, whatever, man. I am tired."
Yeah.
So,
Give me some pozole. Get out of my
yeah,
way. Yeah.
it was funny how not nervous I was to go walk out in front of 10,000 Mexicans. Like,
Yeah.
I was planning it out. I was gonna walk out and go, "Bakersfield, who's drunk?" That was gonna be the beginning.
Sure.
Because the whole crowd was drunk. It would have been great. These are my people.
Yeah.
So I went home and slept for 32 hours, and that was
I
my
do
trip.
have to say I appreciate you texted me on Sunday, and you were like, the podcast might be a little late. Here's X, Y, and Z reason. To everybody who ever listens, Andrew is very concerned. He's very diligent. He wants the podcast episode out on Sunday. He wants to like do his best. And I was like, yeah, man, like when you get to it, it's fine with me. Like you had a crazy day, an event, like, but he wants for the people to be able to have the podcast. It's for
Yeah.
the people, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. I texted you and I was like, "Hey, by the way, podcast is coming out tomorrow. I'm fucking dying, son.
Yeah.
And then like how long it is like a few minutes later, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going home and I'm gonna see if I can do this. And I went home because I hadn't edited it or like done anything. So like I went home and I was like heavy-eyed, slouchy, like let's get this done, and I'm gonna lay down. And
Yeah.
it took me like, well, it would have been faster if I noticed the syncing issue, and I was like, I'm not fixing this. It would take me hours to even try to fix this, and I don't even know if it would work properly because I'm not going to explain, but there's reasons why this would have been really hard to fix. So I was like, you know what? We're going to deal with it this time. I'm going to put it out like this. I probably would have done that even if I was not tired. Because if I really thought I could fix it, I probably would have just said, hey, it's coming out tomorrow, and then gone to sleep and fixed it. But yeah, I was proud of myself. Got it done. Got it out.
And it's the highest it's the most listened to podcast in history, if I remember right.
Yeah, it passed fucking Gangnam Style yesterday. It was pretty cool.
Well, I had a situation this morning. I wanted to made me think of a couple things I want to run by you.
All right.
I think there are two types of people in this world. There are people that see that the gas gauge is nearing empty, and those people go to the gas station and refill their gas or put gas in, right? Then there are people like me who see the estimated miles to empty, and as long as that number is not zero, I'm pretty confident that I'll get gas tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I'm at the destination I need to be at, I'm not worried about it. That's tomorrow. That's future Dusty's problem. Present Dusty's at home, so he doesn't need the car to go anywhere. This morning I left my house, estimated 4 miles to empty.
You've walked 27 miles in barbed wire, Dusty.
I like to live dangerously.
Did you just leave your house with a cobra snake for a necktie?
Yeah, still I like to look death in the eye and stare back, you know. This happens to me all the time, because really I was trying to wait till tomorrow, which is payday for me, when we're recording this, to fill up my gas tank, because I always fill it up all the way to full, like whenever it's payday.
Oh, look at me, Mr. Moneybags.
Don't worry about it.
Mr. Rolling in it.
Yeah. And I don't like to do it beforehand. But this was a situation where 4 miles is not enough miles to get me to work and back on a particular day. It's close. If I had 10 miles to empty, I would have rolled the dice. So I wonder what kind of person are you, Andrew? What do you do in your gas situations?
It usually actually works out to where I got to drive somewhere when I'm like less than a quarter tank, so I fill up then, and it makes sense. Otherwise, like if I'm going home and it's telling me so my car has a thing where like once it gets to like 25 or something, that's when it starts telling me, hey, by the way, you only got 25 miles of gas left. If I'm seeing that number and I'm like near a gas station, I'll get gas.
Okay.
I don't ride the Lightning. I'm not. When I was a kid, I ran out of gas so much, Dusty. One time I drove a 2000 Isuzu Rodeo, which was a phenomenal car.
Yeah.
If you guys can get your hands on a 2000 Isuzu Rodeo, buy that car.
Yeah,
they have like 200,000 miles and they're still like fucking $6,000 because they're sick. They're fun cars. Anyway, I missed that car.
We stand a legend.
I totaled the shit out of it. Rest in peace. But it for a while the gas gauge didn't work. And I wasn't near diligent enough. And one time I was driving to work and so what happened? So I ran out of gas on my way to work. I was driving with our friend Michael because he worked with me at the time.
Yes.
I run out of gas. I pull over to the side of the highway. I get out of the car. I slam the door because I'm mad at myself for running out of gas. Michael also gets out of the car and shuts the door. He doesn't slam the door. So I realized.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I had to call my dad, who worked at a car dealership at the time, and I said, hey, Dad, car's on the side of the road. I ran out of gas. I'm at work. It's on the 190. He's like, oh, Andrew, because it kept happening. I was like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. By the way, you're going to need to bring jumper cables. And he was like, what? And I said, well, you're also going to need, because my dad used to have one of those like Jimmy things that unlocks cars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're going to need that too, because the keys are locked in the car and the electricity was turned on. So the car is out of gas. The battery's definitely dead. And the keys are locked in it.
we
the old that, trifecta.
Yeah, we call that hitting for the cycle.
Yeah. I bet that you can't beat that.
No.
Unless like you've got a flat tire. Unless you got a flat tire, there's no gas, the battery's dead, and the keys are locked in it.
At that point, that car belongs to the highway now.
Yeah.
That's the highway's car.
Yeah, that is you put a plaque on that car.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is, for how like nonchalant I am about when I fill up my gas tank, I hate running out of gas more than almost anything.
It sucks.
Because running out of gas is a fully preventable situation. Every time I've ran out of gas, it's because I decided that, because I was fully aware of the risk, and I went, you know what? I'm pushing all the chips on the table. I'm going all in on my ability to like, I guess trust this machine to not run out of gas. Because I've often found myself in magical type thinking where I'm like, I'm only a mile from home. People don't run out of gas a mile from their house.
Well, plus you like, if you ran out of gas, you're like me, you could just call your dad, right?
There's a possibility that he's nearby. I don't know that he is, but
you start making like, his Native American call.
Yeah. If I see a coyote, that might be him, and so I'll ask.
Papa.
Yeah,
a coyote with a gas cannon.
Yeah, if I see a powerful eagle overhead, I might ask.
That was so funny. Just so everybody knows, Dusty had an absentee Native American father.
Yeah, that's if I see
an eagle lands on the antenna.
Yeah, if I see a mighty eagle near me.
Oh man, he leads you to a reservoir.
Yeah, that's also listening to AC/DC. That's got to be my dad.
Your dad sounds pretty boss.
Yeah. So
if I see a coyote, it might be him.
They
are elusive creatures.
They are, yeah. They're more scared of us than we are of them. That's why he ran away.
That's
Uh,
certainly true.
uh, so secondarily,
Yeah.
because I was at the gas station early in the morning, not a situation I normally find myself. There is a very good gas station by my work that has delicious donuts. And I was
Okay.
like, you know what? Let me snag one of them donuts. It's been a
Yeah.
while. Uh,
Did you get a receipt
I I filed it under D for donut.
for
Uh,
donut? Shout out
so
to Mitch Hedberg.
uh, and so I was wondering. I'm a two type of donut person. Three. I just thought of one. Three type of donut person. That's it. All other donuts hold zero appeal to me.
But does it mean that like the three that you like are like 8s and above, and then all the other ones are like a 5 or a 4, or are all the other ones ass?
No, it's just they don't interest me. I'm
Yeah.
not interested in them. But that
So if you were say you're not hungry, but you could, it looks like a treat, and somebody has a dozen of them, you're not taking one.
no, if I'm looking in the box and my top three are out, then I'm out on a donut that day.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I go original glazed donut,
Sure.
delicious.
Yeah. Can't
The
miss.
the king. A jelly filled donut, or a raspberry filled donut,
Okay.
delicious. I want
Mm-hmm.
a fruit filled donut.
I like fruit. I'm a fruity guy. Not into the fruit filled donut as much.
Third,
Mm-hmm.
long boy,
You're talking
the
about the maple bar.
the maple bar.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
The first round Hall of Fame
Yeah,
best donut ever made is the maple bar.
yeah.
You can't beat the maple bar.
No, hanging in the rafters.
Yeah.
It's the best one. Donut with sprinkles. For others, not for me. Disinterested. Chocolate donut, chocolate frosted donut, not for me. That's it. I have three in the rotation. Those are it. I
Yeah, I
know.
can't. I'm not a big chocolate donut guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know donuts aren't really your thing due to
No.
them hurting your tum tum.
They make me so sick. They
Yeah,
really do. It's a problem.
but is there like the one or two that you'll like go in for?
I like the maple bar is put in the rafters. It's the
Right.
best donut. I like the regular glazed donut, especially Krispy Kreme. I know it's basic as shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, do they make a good donut?
But I don't understand the thing where they're like, whoa, so basic. They make a very good product. It's a delicious ass donut. It doesn't need 50 things. That's the thing. It's like your argument for the In-N-Out burger. They don't need 75 things like the Carl's Jr. burgers do. They know what they do and they do it well. Like, what's the problem with that?
Yeah, there's a reason that it's the guy.
Yeah.
You don't become the guy by sucking. Like, it's not just marketing to be the guy.
You hang your hat on it, you know.
I'm trying to figure out what the other donut that I like is called. And it might be an apple fritter, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh,
I'm
apple
looking
fritter
at
is
all
pretty
these.
good. I guess I consider that more to be a pastry, although it might be a donut.
It's definitely the one that I like is definitely unconventionally shaped like an apple fritter.
Yeah.
But I don't generally associate these things with apples. So I'm trying to figure out if it is what I.
Yeah.
Because mine are usually circular. They're circular and they're irregular. They're like, God damn it.
Yeah. They're like, I think I know what you're talking about. Those are very, very good. They're big. Like all the apple fritters that I've ever seen, it's like this is your whole meal. Like it's the Krispy Kreme donut is like a economy of size.
Yeah, I never eat the big donuts. I think it's a cruller. I think the crullers are my shit. Hold on.
Coffee.
Sorry,
and
guys. I'm
stat.
googling.
Yeah.
I'm googling a lot of donuts, trying to figure out what we're working with here.
Your Google is various. Show me various donuts.
Yeah, I wrote types of donuts into Google. It might be cruller, but I'm not sure.
That's
So
like
we'll
a
go with
Midwest.
cruller.
That's a Midwest thing, you know.
Yeah. For some reason, old fashioned. There she is. I'll show you what it looks like, just so everybody If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see these motherfuckers.
Oh, okay. That is not what I was thinking. But yes,
I like those guys.
Yeah.
I like those guys. So that basically they look like shit. They look like they're shaped like a donut. They look like shit. But it's probably just like a glazed donuts. It says the old-fashioned donut is a throwback to simpler times when flavors were straightforward and every bite was a comforting embrace. Doesn't that sound like me, Dusty? Straightforward flavors.
Yeah.
You don't need a treat. You need an old-fashioned donut.
Right. Yeah. You're there for old fashions and sodas at the malt shop. That's what.
Yeah.
A simpler time.
It adheres to the I want some vanilla ice cream in my Coke. You know.
Yeah.
I don't need Rocky Road in my cherry vanilla Coke. You know. It adheres to the familiar appearance, but it has a unique texture and subtle nuances of flavor. The batter used for these donuts leans toward the lighter spectrum, ensuring a moist outcome that stands out in sweetness compared to its counterparts. Occasionally, there's a hint of nutty undertone. That's my favorite part that teases the palate, adding another layer to its profile. But what truly sets the old-fashioned donut apart is its exterior, slightly crispy, offering a delightful contrast to its tender core. While many modern donuts come bedecked in an array of toppings, the old-fashioned donut takes pride in its minimalism. Traditionally categorized as a cake donut, its only adornment is often a delicate glaze that coats its surface, enhancing its innate sweetness without overshadowing it. You know what?
Yeah.
I think that write-up might make the old-fashioned donut my favorite donut.
Whoever wrote that loves the old-fashioned donut.
Listen, the old-fashioned donut's a good donut.
Yeah, it's not to be trifled with, you know.
My favorite word, I think it was bedecked. Did they say bedecked?
Yes.
It's a good word.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just like, I would like a jelly donut. Jelly donut, please. And it was as good as ever. You know, that's the... But I got it because I was at the gas station early enough to where a donut didn't feel like an insane decision. Donut's only good from about the hours of 6 a.m. to like 8. After that, a donut seems crazy to me.
I wish I could still drink coffee. Coffee and donuts, nice. So that's the only time I agree with cops.
Oh yeah, an old fashioned with a coffee. I'm not a coffee guy, but I bet that's a good combination.
Dude, you know, when you're trying to scroll on a web page and it just keeps refreshing so you don't get anywhere, that's what keeps happening to me right now. Well, I'm back at old fashioned, aren't I?
Trying to learn about curlers.
Okay, like there's a Long John, the Boston cream. I like the Bavarian cream, apple cider donut. Dude, this is a broken website. It just keeps refreshing. What is happening to my internet?
Trying to tell you about the save $4 deal on the side window.
Dude, this is unbelievable. What is happening?
That's
right
untenable.
We've got listeners, people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one looks like it's got a hot dog in it, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. If I could scroll, I'd find out what type of donut that is.
Yeah, so I could avoid it entirely.
So as to avoid it.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, have you heard the news? Start spreading the news.
Are you talking about the former president was convicted of 34 counts?
That's not what I was talking
34
about.
34 felony counts.
I was trying to stay away from all of that.
I don't really want to talk about it either. He looked really sad.
But he looked really happy like 2 seconds before, so it was a funny dichotomy. Like him and his guys were laughing it up, and then they were like guilty, and then you could see him be like, "I'm sorry, what was that?"
It truly is I'm not calling him the king, but you best not miss situation.
Yeah,
they created a fucking monster today, so we'll see how that goes. But what news are you referring to?
The box office is dead, Andrew. Movies are dead.
Are they dead?
That's what they say.
Are you talking about because of all the daughter movies? Or is it because Marvel put all their eggs in the one basket and tried something very bold that you and Kai would never admit was starting to fucking maybe kill cinema a little bit?
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe a little bit.
Here's the thing. That bold move fucking worked. It's the highest gross. Endgame's the highest grossing movie of like forever. The after effects, yes, you could say have an effect, but they weren't wrong to try. They pulled off a thing so audacious that no one else had ever pulled it off, and people aside from you were dancing in the street like it was the liberation of Italy whenever Endgame came out.
But
So
Dusty, sometimes the sex is good and you end up with a pimple on your dick. You know what I mean?
a
So
true metaphor for life.
yeah.
Uh,
So the is it worth it? Let me work it. You know what I mean?
it was Memorial Day weekend,
Yeah.
this last weekend as we are recording. Um, the Mad Max Saga Furiosa was the big movie over Memorial Day weekend.
Did it bomb?
A generally flagship weekend.
Oh no.
Uh,
Oh no.
made an estimated $31 million over the 4-day weekend, down from the 40 to 45 million that it was estimated to make. And this movie costs quite a pretty penny, my friend. 168 million dollars is what it cost to make this movie.
I can't believe even the estimate was so low.
Well,
I would have been like, that movie probably made $100 million since opening weekend.
there's a lot of reasons why.
Yeah.
There's like there's fatigue for like these big blockbuster IP movie, even something like Mad Max, which isn't as like
Oh, so Marvel ruined this too. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Pandemic shut everything down, and I think people got used to watching a near cinematic experience at their house, and going to the movies isn't as important an experience to most people the way that it is for me. But if you have a really big TV and a nice sound system and you want to wait 6 weeks, you can see pretty much any movie you want at your house without having to go to the movie theater and deal with the unwashed, including myself, masses.
God damn it! I love going to a movie theater. I don't get it, man. And like,
but you love going in theory. You never go to the movies.
No, but if I I never. Why would I? But it's fun.
Yeah,
you know,
I love it.
I like to smell the popcorn. I like sitting in your seat.
Yeah.
I like I don't really even mind the people around unless there's like a really, really bad obnoxious person.
Right.
Like, I don't mind other people in the building with me. I'm a human being. I think a lot of the times, like, the world is awash with I hate people.
Sure.
People that go, oh, I hate people. What? People are pretty sick. I make fun of people.
Yeah.
I complain about people, but people are generally pretty cool. I want to be around people, you know?
The Furiosa movie barely beat out the also debuting the Garfield movie about, I don't know if you've heard of this Garfield character, hates lasagna. Or no, loves lasagna. Hates
loves
Mondays.
Lasagna. If he loves anything, he loves lasagna.
It made...
And God, he wants to fuck that Jim guy. Isn't that his name, Jim?
Yeah, I think Jim is his name. Yeah. $30 million. CGI Garfield starring Chris Pratt. Was the other offering this weekend. So a couple of the other things, there was the strike that happened last year for all of the movie industry, slowed down all the movies that people wanted to put out. So like, there's just not as many movies, and there's not as many big movies, and there's not as many movies that people are wanting to go see. And really the other thing is, like, I don't know if you've heard of do you know The Fall Guy? Have you heard of this movie? Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt?
Gosling, yeah.
This movie also bombed pretty hard. It's been out for 4 weeks. It's made $73 million domestically, 145 worldwide. Its budget is 125 million. And for people who don't know, general movie math is you have to make back twice what your movie costs for your movie to be profitable. And that's not included in budgets. They don't always include the marketing costs to market your movie. Like, that's a weird, different accounting thing that they do in Hollywood for some reason. So the real cost of The Fall Guy, they don't really know, but it's not going to make its budget back. It's already available to rent or buy at your house for $20. Like the movie theater can't compete with that.
That's gonna be the problem in the future. Well, plus the whole country's addicted to weed, so like people want to just be able to
Right.
smoke weed while they watch the movie at home.
Well, and you want to take a
And
break. Like I understand, I love watching movies at home too, but I like there. I mean, I'll go see any of the trash you got at the movie theater because I love going to the movies. But I
yeah,
understand, like, there's a really funny Patton Oswalt bit where he talks about wanting to exercise all the time, but like his treadmill is trying to pitch. Like if they're in a meeting, like the treadmill's trying to pitch itself against all the shit he likes to do that doesn't involve having to exercise. So like smoking weed, drinking, watching movies, and the treadmill's like, well, it's going to be kind of difficult, but you'll feel better after. And the weed and the cigarettes and the movie are like, you could just sit here and smoke me and drink this and feel great. And
yeah,
like the treadmill's never going to win that. That's kind
and
of this.
it's so much fun. It
Right.
is so much fun.
Right. And so I think people are like, you have to have something like undeniable, because like I don't understand, Avatar 2 made $2 billion, and that movie's about
Yeah,
people swimming in
I don't get that.
for
I don't get
hours.
that. I don't understand. Well, I think the marketing for Avatar 1 carried over for 20 years or however long it was between movies, 15 years,
Yeah.
because like people expected it to be, and I heard it was impressive or whatever. I did not care to watch that movie. Like I don't watch any movies, as we talked about. But I'm gonna make a pledge right now, Dusty. I'm gonna save cinema.
Okay, you
I'm
fix
gonna
it.
go watch. I'm gonna go watch Mad Max.
It's very good.
I think that'll
It's
do it. But
it is
yeah,
it is a notch for me below Fury Road. I rewatched Fury Road after. God damn, what a perfect movie.
Fury Road was so good. It was so
Oh,
good. I didn't expect it to. I like Mad Max Fury Road. I'm trying to think if there's a new movie that I enjoyed more since Mad Max Fury Road.
well, you have
And
to
that's been
remember.
how long? Close to 10 years,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
you have to remember. You have seen the Ant-Man since then.
I've kind of seen an Ant-Man
We love
movie,
the
you
Ant-Man.
know? I do love the Ant-Man,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to write off. I'm not going to sign off on Ant-Man over Mad Max. So,
Sure.
but the other things are YouTube.
Yeah.
And we like short things now, which would be a good thing for you.
Video games.
Video
Your
games,
gosh dang video games.
and people are a little mad at Hollywood. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and it
People are a little mad at Hollywood.
it costs a lot to go. Like I go by myself the majority of the time, and I have a movie subscription that's like profitable for me to be involved in. But like if we went as a group, the four of us that live in my house, it costs like close to $70 to just get in the theater. And these people are not, like if we're going, I don't expect anyone to be as disciplined as me and not get a drink or a popcorn or a candy or whatever. You're probably looking at over $100 to go sit for 2 hours and have to be like, okay, stay in your seat. Okay, we're here. Here's everybody else. As opposed to I pay $20, I throw that shit up on the 65-inch TV, and we can all do whatever we want. Like that,
Yeah.
it's a hard proposition to fight against. I just there's a lot of doom. I don't think this is the end of movie theaters or the movie industry or whatever. It always comes back around, but there's a lot of doom casting right now because of how bad the movie year is so far.
I think in the future, there's going to be a lot of movies released directly to YouTube, and there's going to be like 5 big movies a year.
Well,
I think the studios aren't going to be willing to spend this much money on these movies. They're not making as much money on streaming as they'd like to. They're probably going to try to get 5 big nuts a year, and none of them are going to be original IP. And the culture is going to die.
Well, and there's like
Mr. Beast is going to be Scorsese of the future.
Remember, like there's Netflix and Disney Plus and these other streaming services that like you already feel the inherent cost for having bought. And so you're like, whenever Netflix puts out a new movie, you're like, oh, that's already a sunken cost. I'll watch whatever dog shit Netflix movie they have. And sometimes they have a good one. The new David Fincher movie's on Netflix, and that movie rules.
Have you watched the Pop-Tart movie?
I have not watched the Pop-Tart movie. I've heard very mixed things about it.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I like Jerry Seinfeld. I truly believe he is a comedic genius. A lot of people are trying to take that away from him lately and say that it was Larry David all along. Larry David's a genius.
Yeah.
Seinfeld wrote a lot of that. Like
Yeah.
Seinfeld is a big part of
And
that.
also a genius. There could be
And
two
also a genius.
geniuses. Like,
But I will not be watching the Pop-Tart movie.
no.
I still haven't seen Joker.
And the Joker 2 is coming out. So,
Yeah.
well, I watched a documentary over the week. Can you believe it, Andrew? It's back, baby. Movie Pass is back in
Really?
business. Yeah. There's a documentary on HBO that's really, really good. That's called Movie Pass, Movie Crash, about the fall of Movie Pass, which we got to experience in real time, and I got to experience live on my phone when I tried to buy tickets to
Oh, it was
Mission
so funny.
Impossible Fallout.
It was so funny watching Dusty. Like Dusty thought he owned the world when Movie
Well,
Pass was happening.
look,
Dusty, you took part in the heist that ruined Movie Pass.
I didn't.
They didn't see Dusty's coming.
I,
You're like, you know how? I think is it Olive Garden? No, Red Lobster is about to like close like 500 stores, and I think part of it is because they had a bottomless shrimp promotion.
yeah. Does that seem like the actions of a man who had all he could eat?
Yeah. Does these seem like the actions of a man who has watched all he can watch?
Well, the problem is, so this documentary is really good. It's apparently, I didn't know this, Movie Pass had been like a sort of regionally successful business for like 4 or 5 years. They had like a customer base of like 30,000 people, and I think the Movie Pass was like $30 a month, right? But it was in like I think it was in like New York, these sort of big markets, and they were doing okay. Like most venture capitalists, uh, like businesses lose money for a lot of years, but they weren't losing their shirt over this shit. They were building it and they were trying to whatever, right? And it was founded by a guy who had like worked in the music business. He had worked in movie marketing, like a smart guy. Him and his friend, there were these two black guys. They started it, and it was like reasonably successful. What's this guy's name? Stacy Spikes, right? And he's in the documentary, and he's like, well, at a certain point, we needed the way that it worked was they sent you like because I never had this. I just had the app, but they would send you a MasterCard, and then whenever you were at the theater, you'd tell the app which movie you wanted, and it would send the funds to your card so you could buy the ticket, because they didn't have a direct relationship with the movie theaters to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're paying full price for the tickets, but they're also charging a pretty reasonable rate for that service, right? So they decide to bring in a guy who says that he's like was one of the like founders or big bosses of Netflix, and that guy and another guy who had done a bunch of venture capitalist stuff are like, okay, the thing we need, what we did with Netflix, we need to build the subscriber base. Like if we have enough people, eventually it'll turn a profit, but we need to make it like attractive enough so that people want to sign up, that they can't not sign up for it. So the Stacy Spikes idea was like, can we do $14.99 for 2 movies a month? And the Ted somebody was like, no, we're doing $9.99 unlimited movies. And Stacy Spikes was like, no, you can't do that. He's like, we have to pay full price for all the movie tickets. So if a movie ticket costs $11.50 for one movie, and we're charging people $10 a month, every transaction we're losing money. Like every single one of them. How do we make any money off of this? And he's like, oh, don't worry, I've scaled up these businesses. Eventually you get enough people where like it works itself out. Wrong. Man, was that guy wrong.
Yeah. That doesn't seem like it's going to work out.
No, it's an insane. I'm watching the documentary because that's what I always argued was like, look, I'm signing up for this service for $10 a month. The movie ticket costs $10. I'm not bothered by the fact that they're going in $40 deep. When I see 5 movies in a month, that's not my problem. It's not my problem to figure out how to make the business profitable.
Yeah, and we had a lot of conversations about it as it was happening.
Right, like I'm not being morally irresponsible. You offered me this deal. That's the deal. Then fine. If you want to change the deal, then I will look at it and see if it's worth it for me to still do it or whatever.
Yeah.
So they get this huge subscriber base, but it's not like the gym. People are using the shit out of Movie Pass, and so they're just burning through their money. There's a dude that said he saw 20. You think I'm bad? There's a dude who said he saw 20 movies a week during the time. That's impossible.
That's so annoying.
It is
That
impossible
somebody went to that many
to see
movies.
like. And he was like, I had a fiance, so I didn't even really have that much free time. What the fuck are you talking about,
Of
dude?
course you did. If you saw 20 movies a week, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
That's at least 40 hours a week. That's a full-time job.
I see in a heavy month of using my movie subscription thing I have now, maybe 8 movies, which is still a lot of movies. That's probably still too many movies, but that's like
How many did you watch last year?
2 a week. 65, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was in the 60s. So like that's a little bit more than one a week.
Right, which is probably what I do anyway. You know,
Yeah.
like, but I go, like, I try to see 2 in a day or something, you know, because Saturday is really my only day to go to the movies because I'm not insane and I'm not going to just leave my wife to go watch 20 movies in a week. This guy,
That'd be so funny.
this guy,
I'd be talking to you.
this guy, by the way, didn't say that ever turned into a marriage. I'm betting there was a problem at a certain point.
Did he look like? Did he?
No, he
we
looked
don't
like
have to
me.
describe
He
him.
looked like me.
Okay.
Of course he
I was
did.
going to ask if
Yeah.
he looked like he sees 20 movies
Yeah.
a week.
So the whole time, this guy, the guy who started it's like, at a certain point, you have to tell me what the plan is to make this profitable. Because they were like, they were sending people to Coachella to like advertise Movie Pass, and they had a helicopter, and they had all this shit.
They were getting taken getting taken to the cleaners in every direction.
Yeah, and the guy's like, just tell me how it works. Tell me at what point it works. And they ousted the 2 founders. The 2 guys who founded it, they were like, we don't need you anymore. Your energy is negative. Like, it's time to go. And the guy who started the company had stock options that at the time they kicked him out because this is why everything's bullshit. Wall Street evaluated Movie Pass at a crazy evaluation because they had so many subscribers and they don't see the business model. So that guy's stock in Movie Pass was worth $80 million whenever he got fired. But you can't sell your stock for 12 months after you get fired. They have to vest or whatever. By the time he could sell his stock, it was worth nothing. In a year, they went from $80 million to nothing. And this guy is so calm and so serene. If somebody cheated me out of $80 million, there's a problem. There is a big problem on hand. Like,
oh man, I'd love to see what a Dusty who got fucked out of $80 million looks like.
Boy, it's a problem. I'll tell you, we're at least having a conversation about it. So then they started doing a bunch of shady shit where they would like lock out people from seeing movies, and they were sending these internal memos like, hey, don't allow access to the Mission Impossible movie this weekend because that'll fuck us. Our cash, we don't have any cash flow. Make it so they can only see something that's like 3 weeks old or whatever. And the IT people are like, what is going that doesn't seem right. So now those dudes who were the heads whenever it eventually like bottomed out are going to trial, but they haven't served any jail time
for like breach of contract because they're locking people out of movies.
Yeah, the FTC was like, hey, you can't do that. Like,
but not only were the movies screwing them, they are also getting sued for not letting enough people go to movies.
Well, and they were like, we'll start making some movies, and then we'll promote those movies on the Movie Pass website or on the Movie Pass app, and that's how we'll get people to go to our movies. So they made this movie called Gotti with John Travolta, which has a, count it, 0% Rotten Tomatoes score. One of truly the worst movies ever made. And everybody was like, I'm not going to see your dog shit Gotti movie. I want to see.
Have you seen it?
No, because it's 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Are you serious?
Dude, there's not much better than a bad Travolta movie.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to see Gotti. I want to see fucking Infinity War, but they're not letting me. uh, and so it's a really fascinating documentary. It's super interesting. The little bit of a silver lining is the guy who originally started at Stacy Spikes in 2021 through bankruptcy court. He was able to buy the rights to the name back, so he's relaunched MoviePass. And so I looked at the website today, and the other big problem is, you know how like the whole thing with Napster was Napster wanted, at least they say at a certain point, to team with the record companies to release the music or do a sort of Spotify type model. And the music industry was like, go fuck yourself, we're not doing that. But because Napster ruined music for everyone, now they have to do Spotify or Rhapsody or whatever thing, right? You can't sell.
Yeah.
No one wants to buy a CD anymore. Napster ruined it. Uh,
Yeah.
Movie Pass made it so that all of these movie theaters were like, oh, we need a thing. Like, we need a subscription. So, like, AMC has one, Regal has one. They all have subscription models now because the Movie Pass proved you could do it. So now Movie Pass is behind. Like, their thing isn't very good at all compared to what I have with Regal. The one I have with Regal is $22 a month, and I can see as many movies as I want during a month. I can see multiple movies a day if I want. And the Movie Pass thing is that they give you credits, um, and the credits are how you buy, quote unquote, buy your movie ticket. But the credits are on a flex system. So, like, if you want to see a blockbuster, that's going to cost you 15 credits. Like, if you want to see it opening weekend, you say you
Mm-hmm.
have 30 credits, it's going to cost you 15. But if you wanted to see it during the week, it might be 9 credits. So it's like all based on demand for this movie, is what it seems like to me. And you could see up to 4 movies a month. For $20 a month, you get 68 credits. I will counter your $20 for 68 credits once again with my $22 for any movie at any time that I want.
Yeah, the credit system just seems really annoying and cumbersome, and you'll end every month with 4 credits that don't roll over, and like,
The credits do roll over. I'll give them credit.
oh, at least they roll
Right.
over.
But I could go this weekend. Well, nothing's really coming out. Next weekend, the new Bad Boys movie comes out. I can go see that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No additional cost. I can see it 4 times on Thursday if I want, as long as it matches. As long as it matches up. Like,
So you can watch the same movie multiple
oh
times.
yeah, it's and Movie Pass was doing that whenever they were trying to stop from burning all their cash. They were like, "Oh, you've already seen this movie. You can't go see it again." Like, they were trying to uh like box people out. And the original owner was like, look, as an African American man in America, the Movie Pass people lost $250 million in like a little over a year. And he was like, if I did that, I'd be in jail. He's like,
Yeah.
the things that they did, like, you can't get away with unless you're old white dudes. And then it turns out the Netflix dude wasn't even one of the main guys at Netflix. He just always said he was. He was like, he was nobody at that company.
I love
He was
hucksters.
a huckster. He
My
was a
one of my
straight up
favorite thing
huckster.
one of my favorite things in the world is a good con man or con woman.
Yeah.
Um, and when people make massive $100 million mistakes.
The
Into my veins, Dusty.
Movie Pass going down was like whenever you were watching Firefest on Twitter as it happened. You know,
Yeah,
remember, like, I would Google every day what's going on with Movie Pass,
yeah,
and we'd
I
read the
remember
newest
that.
article about how the app just won't work.
Yeah,
Nobody can use the app, and people
you
are
guys, you
bombarding the
guys,
Twitter with it.
you guys hear how I laugh at Dusty's misfortune? I was laughing for a week when all of this was going down because Dusty had he had the golden egg. Dusty had a keys to the
Yeah.
asylum, and he slowly saw his dream die.
Well, I was like, I remember, and I even got out early after the shit happened with Mission Impossible, where I couldn't go see Mission Impossible. I was like, Well, if I'm paying you if you're taking my money every month and you're offering me zero, like, of the services that you're supposed to offer me, why am I going to keep using your app? And then it was really hard to cancel Movie Pass because that was they were bleeding subscribers and they needed those subscribers for money. I think they thought it'd be like a gym membership where like
where people would forget about it. That's how Planet Fitness and Costco survive.
right.
Is they live off of people not using it.
Well, because it's not the same as going to the movies. It's a different model. Like even if you go to it doesn't matter if you go to the gym 30 times a month in a month or 8 times. They're just taking your $10. It doesn't cost them any additional overhead. But because Movie Pass didn't have a deal with any of the movie theaters, they had to pay full price for every single ticket. Whereas I bet Regal gives themselves a break on the movie tickets.
They probably don't have to pay for it at all. They probably don't pay. What I'm guessing, there's a chance that they don't pay per viewer. Well, no, I'm wrong. They will pay per viewer, so they do. Yeah, they just probably give themselves a break because they build a little bit of profit into it.
Right.
But because if they didn't have to pay per viewer, then the box office amount wouldn't change by. So they definitely pay per viewer. Yeah. But in this vein, though, Dusty.
Yeah.
You saw The Strangers.
You know what? I didn't get to see The Strangers. That's actually the one I'm going to see it this weekend.
God damn it, Dusty.
I'm so sorry.
Currently on IMDb has a lower rating than the Pop-Tart movie.
Yeah, but The Strangers is like I don't know, horror movies are almost a thing where like even though the score is low, there can be value from from a horror movie.
Have you seen the first one?
The Strangers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen both of them.
Yeah, I was just you were talking as if you hadn't seen the first one. So.
Oh no, yeah. We watched
because the first one sucks ass. That's why.
Right.
The first one's really really bad.
We watched
only Kai likes the first.
We watched the first one with Kai. We did it on the podcast.
I know.
Yeah.
I was at because I know you've seen the first one,
and I've seen.
But you're talking.
Oh, okay.
With optimism about this one, which means that you might have forgotten seeing the first one.
Yeah. Well, I've also seen The Strangers Pray at Night, which is essentially the first one. And this new one looks like it's essentially the first one. So, and there's 2 more coming out this year that are already done. So,
yeah, that's the thing. We talk about, oh man, movies might be dying. People don't want to go to the movies. They made 3 Strangers movies in 1 year. They made 3 before they released one of them. I got no sympathy for these people.
That's they're the hubris, you know.
How much money did that one make?
The Strangers. Hold on, I can find it for you. It didn't do great, so I don't know why the other ones. So it has been out for 2 weeks, and it has made $22 million domestically and $24 million worldwide. So it had an $8 million budget, so it's gonna make money.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's gonna make money.
Well, that's probably why they made 3 of them, is because it didn't cost anybody anything to make them. The tagline on IMDb, for The Strangers, is one of my biggest problems with this movie.
The original Strangers tagline?
No, this new one.
Oh, okay.
It illustrates one of my biggest problems with this movie. They don't need a reason, is the tagline.
Right.
The lazy booking. Like it's so convenient to be like, it's even scarier that we didn't write a story to this movie.
Well, there is something scary about the idea that someone doesn't have a reason for the thing that they did, right? Like,
sure.
But you have to make in the case of that, if that's what you're doing, you have to make really interesting. You either have to make the villain really interesting, or you have to make the protagonist people that you're really going to care about. And The Strangers is bad at both of those things.
Yeah.
So
it gives you no reason.
Right, Speedman.
They didn't need a reason.
We talked about in Speedman in the other podcast. That guy's a zilch. that guy sucks, you know. And
Oh, I
so
forgot about Speedman. Yeah,
yeah,
he's just completely uninteresting.
yeah, he sucks. And so like yeah, the villain like
Guy's so mad that we're re-adjudicating this without her to hear
yeah.
it.
Oh no, I'll agree. It's scary. Home invasion is a very scary. That was her whole point. Is that like that's a very scary thing to imagine happening, and I agree that that's very scary, but it doesn't necessarily make the movie very good. So and this new one, like it seems like all three of these new movies, if they don't have a reason and there's no greater motivation besides, oh, I saw the light on, there were some people in there, let's go fuck with them. Like that's not a good enough reason to make a trilogy of movies. There has to be something uh, to sort of guide these people, right?
Yeah, and I think it's just it's cheap.
Yeah,
It doesn't cost them anything.
Yeah, no, they'll make their money back for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so last week we talked about one of the big movies that is coming up is Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine. Comes out in July. We're going to do a bet at a later date about what we think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to do, because I think it's going to do very well. I think it'll hit over $100 million opening weekend. That's my current thought.
After Mad Max made 30.
I think it's a big deal
Right.
to nerds, and it's the only Marvel movie this year. But I wanted to go back and just see generally, do some revision, play a little game. The X-Men franchise is very famous in movies. You are familiar with the X-Men, yes?
Yeah,
in general,
vaguely.
Sure.
Tubes.
To various tubes. How familiar are you with the X-Men in relation to them being part of that Pete Holmes sketch? Aside from that,
that helps a lot.
Okay.
Let me see. Do you want to see how many X-Men I can name?
Let's do
that. Wolverine.
Okay.
Gambit.
Okay.
Storm.
Yep.
Professor X.
Okay.
Magneto.
Oh.
Got that one.
Yeah.
Okay. The blue girl. What's her name? Oh man, she's bodied up, dog.
Well, that's Rebecca Romaine.
It is. It is. Shout out to John Stamos.
Mysterious,
Her ex was in Jesse and the Rippers.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. Fuck. I feel like it came in and left.
The sound you were starting to make with your mouth, not close.
Cyclops.
Cyclops is a big one.
There's Cyclops. There's Frog Guy. It's the Frog Guy.
Toad. It's Toad Guy.
Toad.
Yeah.
Toad.
You know what happens?
You
know what happens when a toad gets hit by lightning?
What does he do?
Same thing that happens with everything else. That's a line from the original X-Men.
He's got two horrible moments in that movie.
That's the dude who played Darth Maul is the guy in that movie.
Yeah, he sucked ass in that movie. Yeah. What is Rebecca Romaine's name in that movie?
I'm gonna spare you.
Mystique.
Mystique. There you go.
Look at
from
me,
downtown.
Bro. They're throwing up the buzzer beater. I think I did pretty good. I don't think there's any more I can name.
What about the Blob? Familiar with the Blob?
No.
Big fat guy?
No.
About the Juggernaut? What about the Juggernaut, bitch?
Not really.
No?
Don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sure I've seen him before. Is not the Thing? Is the Thing's not an X-Men?
No, the Thing is in the Fantastic Four.
Oh, there it is. The same.
What about Beast? You know anything about Beast?
No, I might have named all the ones I know. Then.
Jubilee. Jubilee do anything for you?
Jubilee. Because the Pete Holmes sketch.
Right.
That's the only reason I no. Otherwise, no. I don't know what Jubilee is.
Rogue. You know about Rogue?
Rogue sounds familiar. Okay. I don't know what does Rogue do.
She
go invisible.
No, she goes invisible. She has the power through touch. She can't touch anybody because she'll take their power. She absorbs their power. or if they're a regular person,
Just like a woman.
she knocks them out. So like there's a storyline in the comics where she basically puts Miss Marvel in a coma by holding onto her head for too long, and then she absorbs permanently Miss Marvel's power and puts Miss Marvel in a coma, and so she can now she can fly and shit, and she's super strong.
And she absorbs the power, but keeps her rogue touch people power.
Yes. So
it's not a trade-em situation. So she's like Sylar in Heroes.
Kind of, yes. So if she temporarily
Zachary Quinto,
if she gets injured, she can touch Wolverine and she'll get his healing power temporarily.
Wolverine. Yeah. Oh, it's temporary.
Yeah, unless she holds your head too long, and then she sucks all your power. But
then it gets baked in.
Yeah. Then it gets on the DNA. So the first X-Men movie. You want to take a shot when the first X-Men movie came out?
No. 2001.
So close. We're in a pre 9/11 world. July the 14th, 2000.
Oh, okay.
This
right.
A big deal for the old Dustman. I wanted to see this movie so fucking bad. 14-year-old.
Were you a comic guy, cartoon guy before?
A cartoon guy mostly. I had a problem with the comics where I didn't know where to jump in. It all seemed so daunting to
Yeah, it was like Double Dutch.
Yeah, and so but there was a very popular X-Men cartoon in the 90s. That I got a lot of my lore.
Yellow Wolverine, that guy.
Yeah, Yellow and Blue Wolverine. Yeah. I remember I
didn't watch it.
I wanted to see this movie so bad that I read the script at Borders. They had the book of the actual shooting script because they used to do that
before the movie came out.
It was after the movie came out. It had been it came out on the 14th, and I wanted to see it for my birthday, but we were broke, so my mom was like, "You can't go see X-Men," and I was like, "But I went to Borders." And so I was like, well, if I can't see...
And then a coyote came out.
Gave me $8. I was like, if I can't see the movie, I'll read the movie.
I bet that was fun.
Yeah, I'll use my mind's eye, bro. And then
you're like, God damn it, I bet this was cool.
Oh, they're fighting in the snow. Goddamn Sabretooth. Sabretooth? Sabretooth's Wolverine's brother.
I know the name, but I don't know Sabretooth.
And then I went and saw the movie right after I read the novel, and I was like, oh yeah, this is happening. I remember this from the book. That messed it up for me. But that was a big, big deal because people were like, you're not going to be able to make an X-Men movie. People don't care about comic books. Even if you do, nobody's going to see it. And they put everybody in cool black leather because they were like, if you put them in the dorky ass costumes from the comics, no one will take this movie seriously. And oh, how the tide has turned these last 24 years. Because now Wolverine's going to be in the yellow ass suit. Yeah, that's my guy, Sabretooth.
They're putting because they respect us less than they used to respect us, Dusty. You understand that, right? That's why they're doing that. They're like, you know what? These dumb motherfuckers will actually go for this if I do this. So I'm just going to crank up the nostalgia to 1,000,000. How about this right here? The funny thing is, that's Sabretooth, right?
Yeah. That's Sabretooth.
Right. I was in the middle of saying before, I was about to say before you said that they're going back to it, that they couldn't do this. They couldn't put this guy on the silver screen. You know what I mean? But what you're saying is now they're putting him on the silver screen.
Well, no, not Sabretooth. Not in the new movie. In the new movie...
Oh, Sabretooth's not in the new one?
No, in the new movie, they have Wolverine. If you can look up shots of it, Wolverine's in the cartoon,
I just figured suit. Sabretooth was also in it. Let me see.
You'll like this. 104 minutes for old X-Men 1. Only... Yeah. Hour 44.
Because they respected us more, Dusty. They knew we had important things to do with our lives. But now they're like, these fucking idiots, they'll go for the old shit.
Yeah.
And they've got 4 hours. How long is a Deadpool movie?
I don't know yet.
All right.
Budget, $75 million. Is what it cost to make X-Men in 2000. You want to take a guess how good the X-Men did? Big hit, the old X-Men.
I'm going to guess it made money, Dusty.
Yeah.
There's Wolverine in his blue suit. Yeah. I'm gonna guess this is 2000.
The year 2000.
$250 million.
Pretty good, 296.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, it's very funny when you read the old box office reviews because it made 52. It made like $57 million opening weekend, and at that time it was the sixth biggest opening of all time. And now people would be miserable if your movie if Deadpool and Wolverine opens to 56 million, the people will set the seats on fire. Like it's over.
See, and this is the problem that I'm having. I don't want movies to die.
Right.
I want movies to make money. But it'd be pretty funny if Deadpool and Wolverine didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, we're on two sides of this bet. We'll see. The original X-Men is certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think the score is?
73.
You underestimate, my friend. We're at 82%.
Wow.
For X-Men. 83% audience score. The people were fucking in. This movie was like, this is, at the time, people were like, this is the best superhero movie there's ever going to be. It's great.
Wrong.
Then, they outdid themselves. 2003, X2, X-Men United. Hell yeah. The first one they fought, now they're united. Because the government is trying to do registration of mutants. You know who doesn't like that?
The fucking government.
Yeah. You know who doesn't like that? Magneto.
All the Jews in Hollywood. Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You're right. But the Magneto's probably the better answer. Is this the one where the Phoenix comes out of the water at the end?
Yes. X2.
I saw this movie in theaters.
X2.
I just want it on record.
Pretty good.
12.
In spite of the fact that it's directed by noted sexual criminal Bryan Singer.
Makes good stuff, you know.
Bad guy. This one costs 110 to 125 million. Big hit. You want to know guess how much X2 made?
102 to 125 million?
That's what it costs.
For the record, I haven't looked yet. This is just the putting the wiki up. 102 to 125. The first one cost like 70 something.
First one cost 75.
Are we talking opening weekend or are we talking full?
We're talking totals.
$373 million.
You once again undervalue my friend. $407 million for X-Men 2.
See, but I was closer for this one.
True.
I was only off by like $30 million.
People love this shit. X2, higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes than X1. X1, 82%. Where do you think X2 falls?
86%.
85. Pretty good. Okay. And 85 audience score. Even. So I remember seeing the first X-Men and being like, this shit rules. And then I saw X2 and I was like, never mind. This shit rules. This is
so you liked it better?
Oh, it's much better. Like then
I remember enjoying it when I saw it in theaters.
2006. We get X-Men: The Last Stand. Now it's The Last Stand, Andrew.
They swear it's like Kiss.
Yep, can't be anymore.
Final tour.
X-Men: The Last Stand. Funny enough, not directed by Bryan Singer because he went to go direct Superman. So they got Brett Ratner, a different director, also sexual deviant. Yes, also sex criminal Brett Ratner to direct this one. This one costs $210 million. Remember, in the year we're talking 6-year difference from $75 million budget to $210 million budget.
Yep.
The box office for X3 is higher than X2. You want to give it a go?
$407 million.
$460.
God damn.
But it costs $210. So they really didn't make any money off of X-Men: The Last Stand. This one, the people are not as pleased.
Oh, really?
No.
I don't think I've seen this one.
This one is not certified fresh.
And does that mean it's under 50?
It means it's under 80.
Oh. 73%.
That's a pretty good guess. Remember X2, 85%.
Yeah.
X3, 57% on the tomato
That's a
meter.
horrible guess, Dusty. It was a really bad
I
guess.
mean, 60,
I was off by a lot.
61% audience score. This one sucks.
Okay.
People are mad.
It sucks.
It's no good. Last one we'll play here. They were like, it's the last stand, except now, guess what? Movie about Wolverine.
Wolverine.
X-Men Origins.
Those Pete Holmes sketches.
They're too good. It's like the Arby's joke for The Simpsons. Destroyed Wolverine.
Dude, I think of that Arby's joke all the time. I was in Idaho. We passed an Arby's, and I had to explain the joke to my family.
X-Men Origins Wolverine comes out in 2009. Directed by who seems like a pretty cool guy, Gavin Hood. No Wikipedia about controversies for Gavin Hood.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's my favorite one so far.
Just stars Hugh Jackman. 107 minutes. I did not think this movie was terrible by any stretch, but not great. This is where Deadpool first shows up. The Ryan Reynolds Deadpool is in this first Wolverine movie, but they switch up the Deadpool origin, like they fuck it all up. People were super mad, as you can imagine.
Oh, dude, nobody gets more mad than nerds.
Nope. The budget for this Wolverine movie, $150 million. Hell
yeah.
You want to guess how much old Wolverine made on his own?
$150 million, $375 million.
Dude, I think that is 373. That's what it made.
Look at me, dude.
So
forget all the other guesses I had.
So maybe not a major hit necessarily, you know.
It's crazy that something can make $373 million and
not be a very big hit, yeah. So there are way more X-Men movies to come. But I didn't want to do all of them tonight, so I will bring up the other ones over the next few weeks just to give a sort of rounded history of how people feel about the X-Men. How do you think X-Men Origins Wolverine did with the critics?
I think people liked that movie, but I can't remember. So, I think it fared well, Dusty.
Okay. How well?
Oh, yeah, I got to give a number. 79%.
38%.
Fuck.
Big swing and a miss.
People hated that movie.
The critics hated it. The people give it 58%.
How'd you feel?
You know, meh.
It's a Wolverine
Masamenos. Like, there's some cool stuff. The opening of that movie is very cool because it shows Wolverine and his brother Sabretooth fighting in like the various wars throughout history because they're super old dudes. But because
God, I'd love to be a super old dude. Fuck. Like that's when I watch movies where somebody's like 300 years old. I'm like, God damn it, I wish I could be 300 years
like old. They fight in the Revolutionary War, and it's like it sort of shows the evolution of the wars throughout history, and like that's a really cool.
Are they
scene.
doing the Wolverine shit in the wars?
Well, he's like until he has the adamantium claws. He has bone claws, which he uses less. Like Wolverine's
bone claws.
Wolverine's main power is that he has like enhanced senses for like hunting, and he has like superhuman healing ability, which is why he's so old because he doesn't age at the same rate. So the claws are, or the adamantium skeleton is not part of the like his regular power set. The reason that they could put the adamantium skeleton on him is because he has such a fast healing factor.
Oh, it would have killed any of us normal people.
Right.
Any of us normies.
So that's why he's Weapon X, dog.
That's so sick. I thought Xander Cage was Weapon X, bro.
No, he's Weapon Triple X
for this country. Yeah. He's Weapon Triple X. He's taking you to the Xander zone, dog.
He wouldn't stand a chance against Wolverine. So I don't know how the general public is feeling about. I feel like people were played out by Deadpool and sort of Ryan Reynolds in general, but he's been away for a little while. And I think the adding of Wolverine to this is going to boost it up. But we'll go next week. We'll look at some more X-Men because they're always rebooting X-Men because it's a pretty like evergreen sort of idea. Like,
what I was gonna say is that I don't have the Ryan Reynolds fatigue that everybody has, but also I don't watch movies,
very
so
true.
that's probably
I feel
why
like you
I
would
don't
think
have.
that Deadpool is a hack. uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I liked the first one. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I don't know.
yeah.
There's a speaking of hacks, there's a comedian in town in Bakersfield who owns a radio station who I did stand up with a couple times back in the day, and he was a hack for a long time. I'm not going to say what his name is, Danny Hill, but he
Is this the guy with the cheese jokes?
no, it's a different guy.
Okay.
Different guy. That guy was actually nice, but this guy might be nice. I don't know, but he he has this radio station Instagram that he got like his Instagram got big like 100,000 followers because he would steal viral videos and be like, this happened at a convenience store in Bakersfield, California,
Oh,
even though it's not from Bakersfield.
right.
Like he just like would just put Bakersfield on there. Um, and then it got big because people are dumb and they like dumb things. But today it popped up on my Instagram. He's headlining a local comedy club that I love. I love this comedy club, and they showed a video of his stand up. Dusty,
Yeah.
do you remember Bill Burr's bit about going to the grocery store with the self checkout?
Oh, yes.
I thought I was going to the grocery store. Evidently, I also work here. That guy. Oh, I should have checked the schedule. That joke.
Yes.
He did a version of that joke. It was just like I went to the grocery. I was talking, with the grocery store, they've got one checkout guy, and they got all these self checkout lanes, and apparently I work at the grocery store now. And I was like, oh man, he's just doing a Bill Burr premise. Fuck! I clicked it not to hate watch.
Sure.
I was like, I'm gonna see if this guy is funny now, like, because he was always just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not gonna, but anyway, and it was just the Bill Burr premise, or he either stole it from Bill Burr or he stole it from social media, because all of our parents stole that from Bill Burr and started putting it on memes and spreading it all over the country.
Well, or it's one of those things where it's I see it on Facebook all the time where it's like that big block of text, and it's like, if I go to the grocery store, I like to see people there, but now there's all these self-checkouts, and I didn't work 8 hours at my job to come work at your job. Copy and repaste if you think that we should be giving jobs to people, not machines. And it's like, dude, like, I'm so happy that the self-checkout exists. You mean one more interaction where I don't have to make small talk awkwardly with the person who works there? Like, great for me. This is not an I hate people thing. I don't want to have unnecessary conversations with anyone. I go to the grocery store, I have headphones on because I just want to do my shopping and I want to leave. I want to get my tasks done as quickly as possible. And the checkout person also doesn't want to talk to me. Like, because there's only about 30 seconds worth of banter that can happen. Oh, looks like are you barbecuing this weekend? Yep, doing some barbecuing. How's your day going? Pretty great. All right, put your phone number in here for the loyalty program. Cool, man. If I could just go to the self-checkout, beautiful. Now I work at the grocery store. Yeah, I make my own hours at the grocery store.
Well, I completely understand that, but I have a huge moral quandary with. I'm really struggling with humans engineering their own uselessness into things. Like we are made to do things. We're supposed to fucking do things. So like all this automation and artificial intelligence, it's literally, we're all going to be Marge when she becomes an alcoholic because her whole kitchen is automated.
Yeah.
Like it is going to result in the unhappiest group of fucks that ever lived ever, when we don't have to mow our own lawns or clean our own house or do any of that stuff. Like, we're going to have a robot wiping us at some point, Dusty. So like, that's my problem with self-checkout. Like, even at the airport this week, I took the stairs everywhere I went. and I'm not doing this as some sort of like high horse shit. It is a compulsion that I have.
Yeah.
I can't have things automated for me unless I absolutely have to,
Yeah.
like, because I want to be useful. I want to do things. I want to live a long time. I don't want to sit on my couch and do nothing,
Right.
So that's the problem. It's like, I've been told, like, even that guy I've heard has been talking about using AI jocks on his radio station, and I was like, oh, the fucking world's over. Like, the world is,
Yeah.
we humans don't exist anymore.
I
We're fucking
I
useless.
hate that. I don't want like I that's the reason that Hollywood went on strike is because they were like, "Hey, we could just have AI generate shit and then we don't have to pay writers in a writer's room to come up with funny ideas. We just have AI do it." And that is the end of civilization as we have it. Like that's no good. Uh I'm for convenience. I'm also a big proponent of what will never happen in the West, but like universal basic income. If we automate things to the point where like work is not a necessary, there's not menial jobs that need to be done, then like just give everybody universal basic income and let them work on their screenplay or their music or their garden or whatever thing that they would be doing if they weren't at work all the time, if it's unnecessary.
I think we'd be fucked.
It'd be tough, you
I
know.
honestly think we'd be. I think we'd be absolutely, because I've always, I used to be on that side. I used to be like, just get, if we did that, just figure out a way to give everybody money, let the robots generate the money, and we give it to the people who then buy goods and services with it and all that stuff. But then I start to think about it, and I'm like, eons, ever since humanity existed, we've had tasks to complete to keep our brains occupied,
Yeah.
right? One in 50,000 people are going to write a screenplay. And the people who are going to write songs are already writing
Right.
songs. We're going to be sitting in front of our TVs, watching fucking streaming all the time, or getting terrible ideas from the internet. Or I think we would end up being the most depressed society that ever existed on this planet if we did that.
It is possible. I'm not saying that that wouldn't
Dusty,
happen.
there he is. You froze when you
Oh,
said that.
yeah, because the machines don't want this out. uh, it's
Yeah, that's
entirely
true.
possible. I think like I'm more optimistic that like then there would be like maybe beautification things happening. There would be a lot more people out. Like you're right. I would probably spend a lot of my time watching. Oh shit! I could watch all the Kurosawa movies I never saw. Like that would probably happen. But
Yeah, I mean, I told you I love people.
yeah,
Think of all the people you know.
sure.
How many of those people, and you know good people,
Yeah.
how many of those people are working on a community garden if if everything goes to shit?
I don't know if there's nothing else to do and
Yeah.
all the needs are met and you don't have to worry about it. So like I don't know. We've never done that, but we've never been at this point in history either where our brains, including mine, are so addled by the like the availability of everything all the time. You know, I don't want
Yeah.
to make this a
Shout out to
yeah,
Bo
we don't want
Burnham.
to make this a Bo Burnham ending episode, but like even my wife, like we have a treadmill at home, and I
Yeah.
walk on the treadmill. The way that I view the treadmill is I have to go on this treadmill for an hour. What are the ways I can occupy my brain to not make me realize that I'm standing here walking, not going anywhere for an hour? Like my brain needs the preoccupation to make me not think that this sucks so bad. But
Yeah, totally.
my wife will she doesn't watch anything. She just walks and thinks about stuff. Like she says she like organizes her day and thinks about
She's a fucking psychopath,
well and I
basically.
was like that
I'm just
I
kidding.
can't well no to me I was like I can't do that. Like that's not and maybe then that's a failing probably on my part that like I'm constantly bombarded by stimuli of my own
Yeah.
choosing.
I've always got headphones in.
Yeah,
My thing's headphones.
yeah. It's like I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm playing a video game while I'm listening to a podcast, or like, you know, I have something to occupy all that thought all the time. Like if an EMP bomb went off and screwed up everything, all the you know like people would figure out things to do with their time but there would be no
Yeah.
robots. So I guess people would just get jobs again. That'd be really funny if it was like people longing for the days of like tell me about your time as a supermarket checker or whatever, like,
Yeah, I know. Oh man, what a time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like I used to subscribe to the human mind isn't used to working like this. Like for years, throughout eons, we didn't have these like grind for money job. And yeah, that's true. It's certainly true. And a lot of it is bad, especially like the worshiping of money that we do.
Right.
100%. But before we had these, we had jobs.
Right.
We just didn't get paid for them.
Yeah.
We were killing bison.
Yeah.
And gathering all of our food and making sure that we didn't get killed by bison.
Yeah.
And like bison were a big problem, So like,
yeah,
it's like our minds are supposed to be occupied with something, and we are engineering convenience into everything. And I think the idea that we're going to do good things with that when we don't have a job, but we also don't have to gather, like survive, like help ourselves survive.
Right.
I think that is, I have faith in humanity in a lot of ways. I don't have faith that humanity will go in a good direction when we do that.
What if there were no internet? Everything's the same, but no internet.
That would be better, but we'd still have DVDs and video games.
Right.
And we'd still we would have to cut everything. Internet makes it worse. 100% internet makes it worse. But we'd almost have to do the UBI, but mandated outside time for everybody.
Right.
Like you have to go outside and join a rec soccer league, or you have to learn how to golf.
That's your thing. You have to punch a card showing you did something to earn your basic income, but it's not because going to work.
And that's even worse control than anything. Right. So it's that's the hard thing. It's I just don't see a situation in which the convenience that we're building into the world. I don't need anything to be easier at this point. Right. Except for medical stuff, there are certain things, we discussed something before this podcast. There's certain things that I would like to be able to go like this and it's gone. Right. You know what I mean? But pretty much everything else, I think we've hit peak easy on almost everything else. And we need to appreciate the value in human labor and appreciate the health in having humans have responsibility, when even parenting, it's this is where you can get mad at the workforce. We created a world in which neither parent is around to actually parent the child during the day.
Right.
And it's we're going against thousands, if not millions of years, whatever you believe about how long intelligent life has been here, of programming in the last 100 years.
Right.
And we're why is everything crazy?
Yeah.
It's maybe because we changed everything that we've built how to do, some for great reasons.
Right.
I'm not fighting against every piece of progress, some for great reasons, but others for we're just we have these automated everythings now.
Right.
And it's there's some things that are fucking unbelievable that they're automating. I don't want to turn my hand 45 degrees, so they got a robot to do that for things. And it's
yeah.
I don't know if we want that, guys. We're just going to atrophy. When I was sick for my 20s and I couldn't do shit.
Right.
I still went to the bank and stuff, but when I was on medical leave, but aside from being sick, that would fucking suck to be all the time.
Right.
Eventually you go, I'm ready to go back to work.
Right. No.
So if we take that away from people, except for the people who maintain and polish the robots,
right.
It's not going to be a pretty picture, man.
Yeah, I think so, but I also think there is a little bit of I bet that there were people whenever they started building houses and permanent structures for people to live in, there was a guy who's but we're losing the value of the, or whenever there were grocery stores, it was oh man, but think about the hunt and what about that? I agree.
There's people who call it too early, Justin, but I understand that, but we've got artificial intelligence now. Cars are driving themselves, Dusty.
I think that there's a good balance that can be struck, hopefully, but that's never the way it goes. So I'm probably too optimistic.
It's capitalism run rampant, man. They've got them writing movies now. They won't tell us that they do, but they do. The cat's out of the bag. You can't put the toothpaste back in
Right.
the tube. They're not going to use humans that they have to pay and give health insurance to
Right.
when they could just have a computer do it and make a lot more money.
Yeah.
It's like it's gone now.
Okay.
Unless we regulate the shit out of it, it's fucking
Like
done.
kayfabe is dead. You know.
And like I said, I even have a lot more optimism for the future than most people do in terms of like the political thing that's happening all over the place. I think we're going to calm down. I truly do. I think reason eventually will prevail. I don't think we're going to lose our minds and go into civil war like a lot of people do. A lot of people are talking about that less, even though they convicted one of the guys of 34 felonies today. Right. So the big thing is, I don't know if they're all felonies. 34 counts, some felonies at least. I believe human reason is going to prevail in that corner of the world, but this automation of things and artificial intelligence, people have been saying it for a long time, is an existential threat to humanity. And I truly believe that like we got to stop. Like we have to slow it down. We got to, like, somebody's got to step in and stop this shit, because like now, I mean, we're getting to the point where like they can make videos and pictures that are indiscernible.
Right.
Like before you could tell, and still you can tell most of the time. Like our parents, well, not your parents, but our parents. My dad's not on Facebook either.
Okay, let's
That's true. That's true. I'm half a loser in that respect. But our parents are sharing AI pictures on Facebook left and right, not knowing they're fake. Right. It's like you can totally, like, I can tell because I'm young, but like it's like two soldiers, a man and a woman holding their baby with an American flag, and it's like, this picture's not getting enough shares or something. It's very clearly artificial intelligence. Right. Eventually it's going to fool all of us, and that's going to be a crazy world. And it's going to be partially because we allowed them to like start building convenience into everything.
Well, with that said, do you want to do?
It's a great way to end.
Do you want to do what was likely created by AI? Some trivia.
Hey, for the record, the dozen curated by man.
Invented by machine, curated by man.
It's curated by one Jeff D. Lowe, a man who works for Barstool. This is the Dozen Daily Trivia. 9
curated
questions.
by Andy Droid. Interesting.
Dude, I told you. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, or I might have told you. A guy at my radio station wanted to call me AI because my name is Andrew Idell. Right. And they wanted that to be like my radio thing. I'm like, no, don't ever fucking put me in the same conversation with that. I hate it. I think it's one of the worst things. And he anyway,
he started running away.
Homer, yeah. Oh man, this guy's exhausting.
Yeah, Homer into the shrubs. Also, Allen Iverson, go fuck yourself, dude.
I know, dude. The Answer.
Yeah. The Answer is a great radio name if it weren't already taken by Allen Iverson.
Andrew the Answer. Yeah. I've really, because I'm going to a new slot, and I've thought about calling the show American Idol, but
very nice.
It sounds a little conservative. Yeah. It's conservative. Sounds like a little bit like a truck picture guy. But it's like you saying the name of the country now. Anyway, this is the Dozen Daily Trivia.
Andrew.
This is 9 questions. The first 3 are always sports. The rest are about general American culture. Let's start with NFL.
All right.
Currently top 5 all-time in field goal percentage. Young-Ho Koo has been the kicker for this NFC team since 2019. There's an Asian kicker in the NFL, Dusty?
There is. He plays for the Atlanta Falcons.
Hell yeah, dude.
Atlanta Falcons.
I knew you'd know. You love anime. NBA. While never an all-star, this Pistons small forward was second-team all-defense in 4 straight seasons from 2005 to 2008. I don't know.
Is it Richard Jefferson? He played for the Pistons.
I'm sure he was an all-star. I don't think he was a small forward.
I don't. The positions in basketball confuse me. I don't know them.
So the way that I see it is like guard is small guy.
Okay.
Small forward, slightly bigger guy.
Why is he called the small forward then?
Because he's a small version of the forward.
I see.
Who's the next biggest guy?
Right.
You know, it's like light heavyweight.
Right. Yeah.
You know. And but there's a shooting guard that is also bigger than like the regular guard, like a point guard. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, forward, center.
Okay.
Smallest, biggest. But I don't have a better answer because I think Richard Jefferson was like a shooting guard, but I like Rip Hamilton. But Rip Hamilton, I'm sure, was an all-star. I think Richard Jefferson was an all-star. There's also Rasheed Wallace on that team. He's a center, though.
Chancey Billups, probably an all-star.
Yeah, let's go Richard Jefferson.
So I don't know. I think he also wore the nose guard. I liked that.
That was Rip Hamilton.
Oh, that's Rip Hamilton. Okay.
Wrong. MLB. Before joining the Cubs, Alfonso Soriano. Oh, this is the Yankees. Oh, wait, NL East. God damn it. Before joining the Cubs, Alfonso Soriano hit 46 home runs and had 41 stolen bases in his lone season with this NL East team in 2006. I think this might be the Mets.
Wasn't it the Nationals? Didn't he play for the Nationals?
Ooh, I think this is the Nationals.
I think you nailed it. Because I listened to the Tony Kornheiser show and they talk about the Nationals. And I remember them talking about
I think you nailed
Alfonso Soriano. I don't know if that's before he was with the Cubs, but
it definitely wasn't the Braves. It definitely wasn't who else is in the NL East?
The Marlins?
The Marlins. I'm going Nationals. I think you are correct. I'm actually pretty confident about this. Nailed it. Hey. Oh boy, good call. I would have guessed Mets, I think, and gotten it wrong. Unless I went through them all and got to the Nationals. Right. But I always forget about the Nationals. Geography. By population, the smallest country in the world that begins with the letter G is this Eastern Caribbean nation with around 126,000 people.
I'm going to clue you in on something, Andrew. I don't know the answer to this question.
No, it's not Guyana. I tried Guyana.
I was going to say Ghana, but I was like, no, that's in Africa.
Galapagos?
No, that's by Australia, isn't it?
Eastern Caribbean. We're going to try Galapagos. Oh. We're going to double dip and try Galapagos.
I'll let you do it.
Celebrity mashup. That is Morgan Freeman and Eddie Murphy.
Wow. Okay.
That is a crazy looking son of a bitch,
that just looks like Eddie Murphy at the end of the movie Life. When he's old Eddie Murphy.
That's just Eddie Murphy in like 6 years.
That's Eddie Murphy and My Name Was Dolomite.
This might be more Eddie Murphy and Don King, but I think it's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I think Don King's hair is spikier.
Yeah, I got it right. With flavors like Nashville Hot and Sticky Chicky, this fast food chicken chain introduced saucy nuggets to their menu in 2024. Dusty, I feel like this is your.
Well, if it's if it's fast food chicken, it's either Popeyes or KFC, and it's not Popeyes because otherwise I would be aware of its existence. So I guess I'll go with KFC, the inferior chicken chain.
I'm trying to think. It might be like Church's. I think this might be like
yeah, because it didn't say national. I guess
it does, and it doesn't sound like it. This doesn't sound like a. It doesn't sound like a KFC thing. I would say like Church's or Cane's.
You might be right with Church's. I don't think Cane's does any sort of like promotional items. They just have the shit.
Are you cool with me trying Church's?
Yeah, let's try Church's. I never think of Church's chicken. I hear it's good.
Holy shit, I was wrong.
Couldn't be more wrong.
Television. Before a major role in Narcos, this actor had a breakout role as the Viper, Oberyn Martell, on Game of Thrones season 4.
Randy Orton, the Viper.
He's got voices in his head. This is Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, yeah. He had his eyes crushed.
Like these. I crushed her face like these. Movies. Robin Williams plays a father who takes his family on a road trip in this 2006 comedy featuring Josh Hutcherson and Jojo Levesque.
I imagine a big hit for Andrew. RV is the name of this movie.
RV is the name of this movie. I've not seen
big
RV.
Hit.
I'm surprised that surprises you that I haven't seen
Big hit at the movie gallery, I'll tell you that.
People loved RV.
Oh, man. Asking me about RV all fucking night. I have to see RV, and I'm like, I assure you, you don't have to see RV.
What is it? What do they have on IMDb, I wonder? The British indie pop band gained fame for their 2013 hit song Pompeii, then later collaborated with Marshmello on the 2018 hit Happier.
This
who
is...
Dusty?
Shit. Bastille is the name of this band.
I would not have gotten this at all.
Oh, man, Jeff Daniels is in RV? That bums me out.
Hell yeah, dude.
24% on Rotten Tomatoes. 45% audience score.
That wasn't Robin's last game, was it?
No. I think he was in some stuff. Critics' consensus as unoriginal and only occasionally funny family road trip movie. RV is a mediocre effort that not even the charisma of Robin Williams can save. So it sounds like Robin Williams is good in this movie.
Galapagos is not an option.
All right.
So,
The United States of
there's
America.
like, well, let's type a G. All right, they're
No,
on
they
to me.
know.
They won't just
They
tell me
know
all
what
the
time
G.
it is.
Let's go GI. Gibraltar, probably not Gibraltar.
No,
Let's go GO, not a GO. GU.
as in the
Okay.
Rock of
French. What about French Guyana? No, because it would be F.
Yeah.
Dude, get out of here, Guyana. Guam. What about Guam?
I don't think it's in the Caribbean.
Guatemala?
No,
No.
wrong.
Guinea? Not the racial epithet. We're not talking about an Italian guy. Guam? No.
No.
Guatemala? No.
Wrong.
Gabon? I saw Survivor Gabon. That's a good one.
I'm a Gerbiver.
Gambia?
Oh, Gaza Strip. It's probably that. Gambia.
Let's go Gambia.
Yeah.
Not it.
Shocking.
Not it.
Truly shocking.
It is Grenada.
Ah.
Hello, Mutta. Hello, Fada. You know what I mean?
If nothing else.
All the counselors hate the waiters, and the lakes have alligators. God damn it!
Mhm.
You know how many times I listened to fucking Camp Grenada as a kid? Mutta, Fada, kindly disregard this letter.
We're forming a search party.
It was KFC.
Oh
man,
that really burns my biscuits.
When we couldn't find the country, we should have went back and tried KFC. That's on me. We should have gotten
it. It happens.
Tayshaun Prince.
Oh, of course.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop that. Let's go. You want to go movie to movie?
Yeah, let's do movie to movie.
God damn it, bro. What the fuck? This one is unbelievable, Dusty. Have you seen the movie to movie today?
No. Is it?
We have to go from The Protector
to
Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour.
Okay.
So,
who else?
What movies?
Who else is in the Eras Tour?
Did they show? They might have showed like celebrities that were there, right?
I guess.
Mike Meadows, Max Bernstein.
No, it's guys. It's the guys in her band.
Yeah. So
let's do it the other way. Let's do it Taylor Swift to The Protector. Wait.
Okay, so Taylor
Who's
Swift.
in this other movie? Who's in The Protector?
Oh shit.
What the fuck is The Protector?
Emma Catherine Rigby, Diarmid Murtaugh. There's 3 people in this movie.
You know what?
And Iris Bjork Johannes Dottir.
Is that Bjork?
I don't know, but I've seen that name. But let's see what Bjork's doing. Actually, you want to see what Emma Catherine Rigby's in? What movies are Taylor Swift in?
Yeah, she's in Cats. She's in
Jesus Christ.
Cats.
Is Bjork in Cats?
I don't know. I didn't see Cats.
You never saw Cats?
Why would I?
It sucks ass.
Yeah,
it's
the
so
Jellicle
bad.
Cats. I don't give a shit about that.
All right, we're going Bjork. She's in.
Oh, good.
Jesus Christ. Oh, good. She's in The Protector and Mikhail.
All right.
We're going.
Let's
back.
go to
We're
the first. Who's the lead?
Emma Catherine Rigby. She's in seemingly a lot of stuff. She's in Festival, Mother I Sleep with Danger. So we're trying to find Cats.
Yeah, go to the second person because I don't know. Unless look and see what Taylor Swift's in. I guess that's cheating, but in this instance,
I know, but Cats is like an ensemble cast.
Yeah, but Cats is like 2019, so.
Who's in the festival? Let's see who's in the festival.
All right.
Nobody.
Hey, not Taylor Swift. I'll tell you that.
Just a bunch of fucking zilcherinos.
I'll tell you that.
I was hoping like Jason Derulo was
right
because he's in Cats. So let's go to the second person, Diarmid Murtaugh, Bad Boy Buck, Against the Ice, Uncharted, Bruno, Robert the Bruce. This one sucks ass, Dusty.
Okay. Wait, go to okay.
Monuments Men is an ensemble cast.
Yes.
We go the Monuments Men. We've got Clooney, Damon, Murray, Goodman, Kate Blanchett. Is Kate Blanchett in Cats? Kate Blanchett might be in Cats.
I don't think she is, but we could try it.
Let's give it a look. She's not in Cats.
Okay. I saw John Goodman
really...
back there in Monuments Men.
John Goodman's right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to get to Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig is who I'm after. Because Daniel Craig...
Is Taylor Swift in a Knives Out movie?
No, but he's in those movies he's in the Bond movies with Judi Dench, and she's in Cats.
Dame Judi
Dench, yes. One of our greatest actors.
Who else is in Cats? Because I think that's a good call.
James Corden, Idris Elba.
Rebel Wilson.
Okay.
Do we have a Rebel Wilson George Clooney vehicle?
It's wait, okay. Go Matt Damon. I got it. I fucking got it. Go to Matt Damon. We go to The Departed. Yeah. We always go to The Departed.
Have you seen that?
We love the fucking Departed.
You seen that fucking knock that shit out of the park?
Go to Mark Wahlberg, our favorite guy.
Have you seen fucking I Hot Huckabees? Are you going to I Hot Huckabees? That's a fucking good one.
Okay. Huh? Then we go to Pain and Gain. We got to go we're taking the long train home.
Shit.
Right?
We're all the way to Pain and
Gain. The Rock.
Even I haven't seen fucking Pain and Gain.
Who was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Jesus.
I told you it has to be the long way home. With goddamn Idris Elba. Who was in Cats.
I can't believe you came up with this.
With Taylor Swift. Who's in the Eras Tour. Of course she is.
Go. Fuck yourself,
I dare you.
Bro.
I dare any of you.
I think the time, 4 minutes and 12 seconds, is respectable.
Sometimes the train has to go the long way home.
But it stays on the track. But it's on the tracks. So Emma Catherine Rigby was in The Traitor, and she was in The Counselor with Penelope Cruz, who was in Sex and the City 2 with Camila Marshall. Oh,
boo!
Fuck yourself. Who was in the Eras Tour? One of her backup dancers.
I dare you. I found Idris Elba. Look. That might be the shortest way. That is less impressive.
Yeah,
you gotta know more about what you're doing. Also, now I don't want this should scare you, but my bunkmate has malaria. You remember Jeffrey Hardy? They're about to organize a searching party. Hello, Mata. Hello, Fada.
Okay. I went hiking with Joe Spivey. He developed poison ivy.
When I heard this song, this is just so everybody knows, Hello Mata, Hello Fada by Alan Sherman. When I heard this song, I don't know that you could have convinced me that there's a funnier song that anyone had ever written.
Oh, dude, I thought it was gold. Uh-huh. See, that's the thing about, you gotta really, a lot of people, unfunnies, remember that's a slur, Dusty. Unfunnies don't understand what we had to go through to develop what we had.
Right. The Dark Ages. The train had to take the long way home.
All the counselors hate the waiters and the lake has alligators. And the head coach wants no sissies, so he reads to us from something called Ulysses.
Look, that's a good bit. Wait a minute. It stopped hailing. Guys are swimming. Guys are sailing. Playing baseball. Get it better. Motherfucker, kindly disregard this letter. It's
just a fucking letter from a kid who wanted to leave camp, and then it stopped raining, and he's like, you know what, camp's good.
Yeah, turns out camp is great. Take me home, or what is it, dearest father, darling mother, how's my precious little brother? Let me come home if you miss me. I would even let Amberta hug and kiss me. He's doing like Bill Burr is doing this guy. Whatever he's talking about his family, you know.
I can't. When was this written?
It's the 50s for sure.
Does it not have a wiki?
The disrespect to Alan Sherman's Mudafada.
I can't believe. I wonder if this is another thing.
It won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album. Hell yeah, dog. Oh, I found the wiki. Here we go. 1963.
I wish we had, we could figure out how often you and I reference something on the show that nobody else like. And it's not even an inside
Sure.
joke. It's just who else is listening. If you were listening to this podcast and you're still listening after the AI conversation, and you knew what Hello Mutta, Hello Fada was, please write to me. I need to know if somebody else knew or if that's just for us.
That, like, because I think one of the key things has to be we were raised so religious.
It reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
This song was a bop, dude. This is like the beat
in 1963.
Before the Beatles, it was Alan Sherman. They were like
That's
the hottest
crazy,
dude on the charts. He said he rhymed Spivey with Poison Ivy, and people were throwing shit in the air.
Fuck.
This is it.
See, it's not mother, it's Mutta, because the little kid's Italian.
It's they're just hailing him a genius. They're getting ready. They're pulling the rafters up, and then they heard "Love Me Do" for the first time and dropped the jersey. Went running
quickly.
Yeah.
Alan Sherman died at 48 years old in 1973. He's a big fat guy.
What I understand is from this
alcoholism.
Oh, from this wiki uncredited developed Poison Ivy.
He had malaria and poison ivy.
This is also where they credit Leonard Skinner getting their name, because there's a guy in the song named Leonard Skinner.
Jesus Christ. Really? From Hello Mutta, Hello Fada?
Look, dude.
I thought it was like, I can't remember. That's fucking...
He's the kid that gets ptomaine poisoning after dinner. And they called him Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner. Yeah. So, because I remember that as a kid, and I thought they were referencing the band.
Right.
I didn't realize that it came out before the band. God, I heard this song too many times. When
it was a myth. Ptomaine poisoning was a myth that persisted in the public consciousness, scientifically disproven in the 1910s. Fake news. Ptomaine poisoning.
Look at this, dude. Look at this shit. This guy fucking did live shows.
Oh yeah, dude. I bet.
Do you want to guess whether he's wearing a funny hat?
I think I've seen the very picture of which you are.
Hello, Mother. Pinwheel at the top.
Hello, Father. Here I am at Camp Camp is very entertaining. And they say we'll have some fun if it stops raining.
This fucking, they're throwing their bras at him and shit with his pinwheel. A bra gets stuck on his pinwheel hat and just is slowly going around.
Well, think about Ray Stevens. Ray Stevens had hits. Dude, straight up had hits. Every dude's grandpa that I knew had the Ray Stevens VHS of his music videos with the streak.
Oh man, who is the guy that wrote? What about the Mississippi Squirrel Revival?
Dude,
yeah, I forgot.
That song bangs, dude.
Did you ever hear? Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. Yep. You know that song? My grandpa used to sing that. It's hard to look in the mirror. I get better looking each day. You wonder where I got it?
Right.
Like this arrogance is the funniest thing in the world.
You've had it the whole time. I mean, if you look on the track listing for Johnny Cash Live at Folsom Prison, there's a bunch of those old, like, weird folk songs. Like, there's a song called "Egg Sucking Dog" about his dog that he's gonna kill his dog. He loves his dog, but if his dog gets in the chicken coop again, he's gonna kill the dog. Like, I'm
gonna kill that fucking dog.
Yeah, you've been flushed.
Well, is that where Boy Named Sue came from?
Yeah, and you've been.
How do you do?
You've been flushed from the bathroom of my heart. Like, there's all these weird ass songs, and the prisoners are like, "Fuck!" There are probably 10 murders committed that day due to the hype from the Johnny Cash show.
I thought Boy Named Sue was a Shel Silverstein poem, and it is.
He was reading it. The story I always heard was that he either read it only once the night before, or he was reading it as he was playing it, and he had never heard the lyrics before. And so that's why he, like, cracks himself up at a certain point in the song.
He rocked that shit. Have you ever seen Shel Silverstein, by the way?
I certainly have, but it's been
He looks
a long
like
time.
he looks like what you would think a Satanist looks like. He looks like Anton LaVey's
Yeah,
scary uncle.
he looks like.
But he wrote some of the best poems.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. Crowley was wrote.
Yeah.
Mr. Crowley wrote children's books.
By the way, Boy Named Sue, also number 2 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100.
Dude, they couldn't get enough. When did Boy Named Sue come out?
In the 60s, bro.
When did
1969, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's Abbey Road, Boy Named Sue. Fucking
How do you do? Now you're gonna die.
That's what I told him.
That's what I told him. This is great. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's time. Look, we took the long way home to get to the Eras tour, which is appropriate for this podcast. Thank you everybody who listens. We appreciate it. We hit the YouTube, like Andrew said. We've got the socials at the top. If you didn't mention the socials at the top, because I can't remember because 2 hours ago.
I don't think I said the socials. I said the YouTube.
You know what's going on. YouTube. Hit the bell. Smash that like and subscribe button. Send us your feedback. All welcomed things. Thank you for listening. And Snart Marks will be back again next week because, unlike Andrew, I welcome our AI overlords with open arms.
God damn it. I was going to take us out with
Enjoy this. Hello, mother. Hello, father. Here I am at Camp Granada. Camp is very entertaining. And they say we'll have some.